A warm welcome. We'd like to take the time to update you today on the latest advances in AI for Sage Intacct and run you through some of the highlights of the 2026 Release 1 functionality. I'm very pleased to say we have a guest speaker for today's webinar, David Anderson. He's the head of solutions in APAC, and it means that you don't have to listen to me all morning. So that's a fantastic situation. David has kindly agreed to share with us some of the latest advances in Sage's AI journey. So welcome, David. Thank you for joining us today. I'll then take you through the Release 1 updates. This contains enhanced or new functionality for a variety of you, our customers, whether you are not-for-profit, for-profit, project or construction companies. We trust you will find this session both informative and practically useful. David, once again, thanks for giving us your time today, and over to you to talk all things Sage AI.
For sure. Thank you all for having me, first of all. Yeah, as Andrew mentioned, I'm Dave Anderson. I'm the head of solutions for Sage, and I'm really excited to talk to you about what Sage is introducing as far as AI, and not just from a buzzword perspective, from what is actually in the system and available for you right now. Now, I want to set the scene. First things first, everything starts with trust, and customer trust is literally our greatest asset within Sage, and it's at the heart of every single thing that we do, including AI. The reason that is because we're ensuring that humans are always going to be in control, and that the AI is accurate and is acting in your best interest. This way, we're going to meet your needs and always with your permissions. We really have this relentless focus, if you will, and that focus is on accuracy and trust that our AI, I should say, and the results are all about your business outcomes. Now, I want to start off what I said framework, right? These are the 5 pillars of Sage AI proposal. At the first stage, Sage Copilot is the experience customers use every day. That's the front door of AI across all of our products. Behind Sage AI is really our take on specific domains that are intelligence engines that are built on real financial data and real domain expertise. Our AI agents are the doers, if you will. They're your extra set of hands. They take action safely, specifically on your customers' behalf, right? And that all runs on the Sage platform. And what that means is that it unifies the workflows and the data, and that's going to be end to end. And all of that is guided by our specific philosophy, which is authentic intelligence. We want the intelligence to really be authentic and really augment what people trust. We want it with transparency, and we want it to have real world impact. Now, when we're talking about the framework, as I mentioned before, so Sage AI and Sage Copilot are a critical part of our strategy. So there's so much that it's specifically called out in our ambition to create the world's most trusted, most thriving network for small business users, mid-market accounts, as well as enterprise, all powered by Sage Copilot. And that's really to help achieve our purpose. And that purpose really is to knock down barriers. That way, every single person can thrive. AI is really at the strategic framework throughout Copilot, and it's embedded all through our AI services, and that's within all products. And that's going to give time back to our customers. And that way you have the insights that you're going to need to truly drive your business for high growth and high performance. Now, I talked about agents, and I feel like agentic AI is a buzzword, but also people don't really know what it means. So I just want to start off with breaking down what does agentic AI really mean? And what it means is that we're talking about a shift away from AI that just responds into AI that actually reacts. I mean, that actually acts, right? So when we think about this, traditional generative AI that creates content, we're talking about text, images, code. It answers questions, it drafts, it suggests. Now, agentic AI takes that further. It takes that intelligence and applies it towards an actual goal with minimal supervision. So it uses AI agents, let's say digital workers, right? I'll use them as digital workers. And that way they can make decisions. They can take a large objective and break it into smaller tasks. They can coordinate across your systems and they execute it all in real time. So I want you to think of it as orchestration, not just generation. And the defining characteristics are really threefold. It's really about first, it being autonomous, so it can act independently without having defined boundaries. And then two, I mean, within defined boundaries, not without. That's important. You want it within defined boundaries. Two, it's goal driven. It works towards outcomes, not just outputs. And thirdly, it's adaptive. So it responds dynamically to changing conditions. So if I were to give you all, let's say, a simple example, generative AI might tell you the best time to climb Mount Everest, right? However, agentic AI would plan the trip. It would compare flight options, book the tickets, reserve the hotel, adjust for weather delays, and notify you of all of those things, and it would do it automatically. And that's a real leap. That's from insight to execution. So we're talking about from content creation to coordinated action. And that's where the real enterprise of the transformation really begins. So these are the agents that are available in Sage Intacct right now. So what you're seeing is not concept. It is not roadmap. This is actually in APEC right now. We're operating agents across three critical pillars. That's going to be accounting, assurance, and insights. First, I think about continuous accounting. Our AP agent is already automating vendor invoice processing, draft bills, matching to purchasing transactions, and that's, of course, reducing manual entry. Our time agent builds timesheets automatically from the calendar or activity data. It isn't just incremental efficiency, it's actually removing friction from your day-to-day finance operations. Secondly, I think about the continuous assurance, the close agent, which you'll be seeing a little bit later with Andrew. It accelerates your month in by tracking your tasks, flagging bottlenecks, guiding teams step by step. The financial assurance agent, it's monitoring journal entries in real time, identifying anomalies, and that's against historical patterns as they become issues. Now, this really does shift how reactive a review can be. So now we're talking about proactive control. And then we're going to take it to continuous insights. That's the finance intelligent agent. That enables natural language interaction between your financial data and your team. So ask a question. It asks a question, you're going to get an insight, you're going to take action. Not dashboards alone, but actual intelligence that's embedded into the workflows. So underpinning all of that Sage Copilot is available now. And we're also talking about your agent builder and your MCP server. And that's actually enabling extensibility. So we're talking about making the extensibility bigger, orchestration bigger, having an ecosystem around your integrations. So we're not just saying AI layered on top of the finance, it's actually embedded into the operating model of finance. So we're talking from transaction to control to intelligence, and it's all happening continuously. Now, our finance specific AI is not third party. I want to be very clear. Sage is an AI pioneer. We've invested in developing accounting specific AI solutions for over a decade. Now, that's from conversational AI into the customer support gaps through anomaly detection, which I talked about within the GL, AP automation, PO matching, now the Sage Copilot automate and close. What you're seeing in front of you is that our AI is actually delivering productivity and insights for customers globally, saving hundreds and thousands of hours annually. Now, our team of specialists, they have expertise in machine learning. They have it in generative AI as well as agentic AI. And that's really designed to have a trusted AI solution that operates at scale. And it does it rapidly. And more importantly, it does it securely through the Sage AI framework. Now, annually, so far, what we're seeing is that we're extracting over 45 million invoices. We're making 3.2 billion predictions, and it's generating over 42 million insights. And every single month, AI is extracting invoices with a combined dollar amount of over $3 billion. So we're saying we have every day, I have 40,000 AI models that are training the data. They're supporting 7 languages, and our domain-specific LLMs are training over 7 billion parameters, which are fine-tuned specifically for accounting. And those numbers are growing every single day. So let me show you how this is helping finance teams transform and how this is helping your work get better. How is it getting done? What you see here in front of you, this is a shift. This is from traditional manual month-end driven accounting, right? This is now shifting into that continuous, automated, always on model. So like I mentioned before, we start with a continuous accounting. This is about removing that biggest pain point. This is something we hear from our customers all the time. It's the month-end close, and Andrew will walk you through this in a moment. But by automating those routine bookkeeping and capturing that activity in real time, your books stay accurate every day, not just at month-end close. And really what that means for you all is less stress, fewer bottlenecks, and more time to give back to your team. So from there, we move into that continuous assurance I talked about, real-time controls, automated checks, built-in compliance. You're no longer needing to chase down errors and wait for reviews. Your data is always reliable and it's always compliant. And I know as a former controller myself, that's going to give you confidence in the numbers, specifically whenever you need them. And let's be honest, when your accounting is continuous and your assurance is automatic, you are going to unlock continuous insights. This is where the real value of your business shows up. You're going to get timely and trusted insights, and that's going to help your leaders make faster, smarter decisions. And that doesn't matter if we're talking about managing cash flow, planning investments, maybe responding to a change that happened really quickly in the business. Each one of those components is going to strengthen the other. And that just creates a real smooth, connected flow from your accounting to your compliance to your insights. And if I'm being very honest with you all, the result is really simple. We're taking less manual work, fewer surprises, more control, and more time to really focus what to do to drive the business forward. This is a conversation about strategy. Now, I don't want to take any of the thunder that Andrew's going to show you. I just want to show you a quick sneak peek of what's going to happen. The Copilot Assistant, it transforms finance teams manage the month-end close process. And this is just a quick glance of how the visibility into the standard close, how it takes those tasks across multiple applications. It's going to simplify the navigation for those close tasks, including subledgers and the general ledger. It's going to deliver insights on the close status at all entries and from the subledgers into one clear summary view. And the reason we streamline this is because by doing so, we're accessing and improving your visibility. The assistant really makes it easier for you to track your progress, identify those bottlenecks, and it keeps everyone aligned throughout that close. Now, another part of this is going to be that subledger reconciliation. You're not going to have to slow down your month-end close, right? So Copilot subledger reconciliation, what it's going to do is that the assistant's going to automate the reconciliation report preparation. It's going to highlight variance analysis. It's going to provide drill down insights, and that's going to be for faster resolution. So by eliminating that manual process and that manual reporting, we're improving that visibility. Your finance team are going to save time, more importantly, reduce errors. And again, they're going to get back time to focus on strategic initiatives instead of manual reconciliations. And let's be honest, you hired them for strategy to grow the business, not to do manual inputs. And when we talk about the variance analysis, again, that's going to help with the review process. That's a lot of times where the bottleneck in finalizing published financial reports happens, right? So when we compare things like your budget amounts versus your actuals, or you're analyzing your current versus your prior periods, again, from my experience, your controllers, your CFOs, now they can quickly spot when there's an accounting error. Let's say there's a significant variance of something that's happened. Traditionally, this process can take several hours and lots of manual effort and, generating reports, notifying the budget owners, waiting for investigations, waiting for that data to come back, and then having to do corrective actions. What Copilot Variance Analysis transforms is the entire workflow. It offers you instant access into the insights so that your controllers, your department managers, your location managers, it can automatically alert the budget owners when the actual variance happens. And it does that within real-time visibility. That way, budget owners can then check their spending at any time they need. They can make informed adjustments. They can work proactively, specifically with the finance team to address the issues. So nothing is done retroactively anymore. The entire team is going to be able to save time on the reporting, and they're going to focus on that strategy that I mentioned. And they're going to ensure that the financial accuracy, and it's going to empower everyone to make quicker and smarter decisions. Now, the close automation is available now for you all to explore. And Andrew's going to talk about that. He's going to show you exactly what that looks like. But I want to make sure I just gave you a sneak peek into exactly what that's going to be. Now, that's what I had to show you, a little bit of what is available, what's coming. I'm going to pass it back to Andrew. I'm not going anywhere. So if you have questions, I will be here to answer anything for you. So Andrew, back to you.
Thank you, David. That is great. Now, all we've got to do is make sure I find the right screen to share, and we'll all be able to get back into what we were talking about. But certainly the information that you've got. I was quite interested that you say that best part of 10 years for AI. I think everybody still thinks it's a new feature or a new function. And I know that, that's part of that was the GL outlier detections and things like that. But yes, it's been around for years. People need to realize that this is the latest iteration. I think it's a bit like the web. When it was first the internet and then it became the World Wide Web, but the internet's been around for a lot longer than www.
100%.
Yeah. So really appreciate you stealing some of my thunder there. I mean, sharing some of that with us, but and no problem at all. Thanks for putting that presentation together and sharing it. I know from a practical point of view, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing more and more of the functionality coming into action, and for all of us to be able to benefit from AI helping us on our day-to-day work, as well as allowing opportunities. I think when it can start to look at working on the business rather than in the business. And I see that, we're all running lean, and all of a sudden it means, oh, hang on a sec, we don't have to get a report built. We have an instant insight. That information is being presented to us in a way that it's usable. And so I think, I'm enjoying what AI is offering, and especially from a Sage perspective, knowing how that the large language models that everybody talks about is not outside of Sage Intacct. It's built in the accounting system, nice and safe, can trust it. It's important. If we turn around and use an unpaid AI and we do a search, well, that search goes out there forever. And so being able to make sure that the data stays in our business system, in our AI, is the way to be. Anyway, as we move now looking into the slides of the 26th release 1, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Sage Product Management for allowing us to access their internal information on the latest update. I hope to do them justice. With this 2026 release 1, Sage is delivering innovations that help you accelerate decision making, maximize your time, and is optimized for your business. By elevating the work of humans with AI, as we've just mentioned, as David showed us, the aim is to free up finance teams from those manual repetitive tasks so you can focus on strategic, high-value work. These innovations deliver deeper visibility, faster processing, and tailored solutions that empower finance teams to move with clarity and drive meaningful outcomes. Time won't permit me to cover off in detail all of these today, and I'll only have time to present close automation live, although I'm going to sneak a little bit of the analysis in there for you. But I trust that you'll find the information presented today of value. The first function is in response to you, the Sage community, feeding back to Sage, which is always a good way to be. And as you can see in the corner, this is specifically for Australia. One thing I do point out too is this circled area up here. I'm going to be showing you both general availability. I'm going to show you early adopter, and I'm going to show you what's coming soon. So keep an eye on that screen so I don't have to refer to it all day long to know that this is instantly available to you or shortly available. We're getting close to R2, so some of these things are coming in R2, which is a fantastic thing. But anyway, Sage has moved the reduced input tax credit. Tax detail, when they first developed it, it was actually put on the entity level. And they've moved that in response to feedback from Australia to say that it needs to be on the detail level, not at the entity level. So this gives you greater flexibility to track your recoverable and unrecoverable tax at the lowest level, includes partial exemptions and keeps the experience consistent. It also makes it easier to create AP and purchasing transactions with those RITCs and makes available multiple rebates per entity as required, giving you much more control. So it's incredibly enhanced that capability for those who utilize it. Close automation, as we've said, finally been made generally available. Again, as David said, I won't spend a lot of time explaining it because I'm going to show you live in a minute, but I will take the opportunity to cover a couple of upcoming functions first. When the application was released into early adopter and testing, it was not multi-currency. It was only for a single currency solution. And so what they've done now is they've added, when I say multi-currency, I mean multiple base solution. But given a number of our customers has offices in New Zealand and Australia and are using multiple base currencies, this means we're looking now at full capability for all those offices, and you can confidently look forward to incorporating this application in your business. As well, there's going to be, as an extension of close automation, there's going to be close analytics. Now this is aimed for R2, so hopefully it's not too far away, and it will give you the ability to overall look at the entire close. You'll see the days to close up here, and you can see that over a periods of time, we can start to monitor how well our close is running. So often people go, oh yeah, I've got the books closed in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Just don't be like the guy I work for who closed them on the 25th of the following month. But this will show you your trends. It will show you where your bottlenecks are. So how many days does it actually take? So the blue line is how many days to complete it, I should say, and where your bottlenecks are. So we can keep an eye on how it's going to help us not only do the actual close, we're using close automation, but be able to analyze that data as well. Moving on to just some of the functions that are either in early adopter or coming in release 2, release 1 here now. As I said, we're bringing in, Sage is bringing in cash intelligence. So managing short-term cash flow can mean pulling data from multiple places, reconciling balances, spending time just understanding where you stand. Cash intelligence will use AI to bring key weekly cash information into a single view. You can show your cash position alongside your expected cash requirements, forecasted change. It will also have the Copilot insights. This is our little Copilot symbol up here, allowing your finance teams to quickly understand whether cash on hand is sufficient to identify potential shortfalls and to act sooner. It will move you from cash visibility to cash foresight, helping you anticipate your cash flow needs and make more confident cash management decisions, all backed by data. GA, Sage Intacct Data Cloud. This is one that gives your team direct governed access to the data, Intacct data, actually in a data lake, in Snowflake, okay? You can build unified analytics without having extract, transform, ETL routines, without building pipelines, etc. The Intacct data, if you have the Intacct Data Cloud subscription, will be delivered directly into Snowflake and kept up to date, making it easier for you, if you want to run SQL queries, to connect tools like Power BI and Tableau, and to support advanced reporting and visualization. As your data needs grow, the architecture is built to handle increasing volumes, so you can use continuous data for custom analytics. I've previously mentioned to you that Sage reporting is for Intacct data, the dashboards, it's all Intacct data, whereas this will allow you to bring in data from your financial systems, your non-financial systems, maybe your CRM, other third-party applications, bring it all into a single point. It's hosted here by AWS in Australia, so you have good data sovereignty. But I will be open here and say it's not meant for smaller companies. Okay, it's meant for large organizations who have lots of data through all of those different applications that I mentioned. It will be loaded standard out of the box. You get 2 data updates per day, so every 12 hours. But this can be increased to as much as hourly, or brought down to as much as hourly, or even near real time. So depending on your data needs, the ability now exists to go to Snowflake, have your Sage data there, and access it as you need. We're introducing a customer payments portal. This is step 1 of customer payments, and it allows your customers to go online and pay the AR invoices. It's currently EA, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, in the United Kingdom and Canada and France and Germany. Those good folks are making sure it's all good for us, but it is due R2, so not too far away. Initially, there will be Sage partnerships with Stripe and PayPal, which means we can take money through bank card payments. And the customer will be taken to a portal where you can see all the outstanding accounts, and they can click pay all or partially pay. And before you ask, yes, a supplier portal is in the works too. Caveat, always when we talk about what's coming, because software companies don't want to guarantee anything until they deliver it. But at this stage, there is a plan for a supplier portal. Step 1 here, as I said, even if there's not a specific payment gateway set up that your business uses, because Stripe and PayPal will cover a lot, but just in case, there's also the ability that customers can still come here and use it to look at reviewing their outstanding accounts, I should say, without necessarily making payments through here. And Sage is looking at adding EFT support in that area as well. Right now, just bank card, or PayPal, but there's also EFT support on the radar. For those of you already using AP automation, we've been used, Sage is now using AI to help you match those vendor invoices with more precision. It's automatically matching each invoice line to the corresponding purchase order and receipt line. So it's gone to line by line instead of header. level. So you can confirm what you're paying for and what you received. When something doesn't align, like a price or quantity mismatch, the system will highlight it for you. As you can see here, you've got exceptions on these lines, and then it brings me the detail on the lines below of where the exceptions are. So in that case, there's a 4% price variance, there's a minus 15% quantity variance. So I can see what, not only that I have a problem there, but what those problems are. This one was $2.99 and now it's $3.11. So straight away, nice and easy to analyze the data, but also be fed what the situation is that I need to resolve. Okay. To me, these sort of things are just perfectly logical and useful. This one is close to my heart, so I'm sorry, it's still an early adopter at this stage. It's not expected to be GAR until the release 3 or release 4 this year, but we do hope that we'll see it this year. So what we're going to offer is purchasing line level approval, which gives you more flexibility in how your approvals are routed on purchasing transaction. Each line item will be able to follow its own approval path based on the dimension assignment. So that'll include location, department, project, and so that the right stakeholders can approve the lines they're responsible from a single request or purchasing document. One thing to mention here is if the PO has multiple lines covering multiple departments and you use line level approval, then each department will only see their approval points, their rows. Approvers get a more focused experience with a filtered view of what they can approve or decline. They will be able to see their line level approval history and multi-select to approve or decline multiple lines simultaneously. User groups can also be selected as approvers, helping your team to standardize approval workflows across purchasing, allowing you greater control. There's been an adjustment to the tax processing for AP automation. For those of you, again, who've been using it, you'll know that the AP draft has always written, and when you do the AP automation, it's always written the fact that there is a tax value, but it hasn't identified the specific tax code from the BAF. And so now it's starting to recognize those codes and offer you what it believes is the correct answer. Now, I say what it believes is the correct answer because it's been trained, but this also uses machine learning. So if at any point you need to adjust it, it's going to remember your adjustment for next time, and therefore the accuracy, as with all machine learning, is going to continue to grow on a daily basis. GL account balance reconciliation. David mentioned this one as well. It's a great feature for your financial controllers. It provides a clear, organized way to match offsetting debit and credit lines which have been posted to balance sheet accounts. It's on top of the standard reconciliation of your control accounts, the AR, customer reconciliation, AP supplier, cash management, etc. But now, instead of scanning long lists of posted entries, you can quickly pair the lines that belong and filter out what's already matched. Okay, so to me, that's a bit like we do with our bank rec at the moment. So we're able to see our matched and unmatched transactions and just have to deal with any that are not matched. And you can see where the balances cross over and they relate to each other. Okay, it's intended to highlight any of the discrepancies and allow you to quickly and easily address them. For those of you using dynamic accounts, this I think is reason to celebrate. Okay, you asked and Sage has listened. You can now create allocations faster when you have multiple accounts to cover with the same methodology. For example, if you need to spread investment earnings and associated costs, that can now occur using a single allocation definition rather than requiring an allocation group to achieve. This will save you posting to allocation pools or an allocation account and then losing visibility of the original source. So a great advancement feature. Some of you who are doing, many of you are importing data into Intacct. Some of you may have noticed that Sage also has a new import capability. Some of you may even be using it. This has now been enhanced with the addition of AI. Again, another example of where Sage is going, AI makes sense. Let's make it easier and clearer for people. For example, if we import projects, that can often stall because the source data needs cleanup, it has complex mapping before you load it. What the AI-powered import agent does is let you use natural language to transform the data as you import it. So you can make changes on the review screen without going back to Excel. You can preview the transformation, accept the changes, roll back if you need to. Enhanced mapping also supports more flexible scenarios like splitting fields, combining columns to generate new field values, and mapping a single source field to multiple destination fields. You can even provide your own guidance to the engine, and the AI will take this into account for you. It also removes the restriction of files needing to be CSV format. You can use any format, comma delimited, Excel files, and so on. One example of this functionality is taking an address from a single field or column, which then spreads itself over, say, address 1, address 2, suburb, postcode, etc. I will caveat this again. This has not been done for all modules. So I'm talking specifically about the project management one here, and there are other areas, but it's not done right across all of Sage. It is expected that there are more coming, but if you regularly import files into Intacct, I recommend that you have a look at this functionality and see if it works for you. Customer billing groups and common charges. So common charges, this helps finance teams manage high volume billing with less effort. You can group customers who share a billing cycle and manage billing at the billing group level, including common charges that are one-time or recurring. Updates are made once and applied consistently across the group. Before invoicing, you can preview the group billing activity for accuracy, check that it's okay, then fast forward your invoice production with a more streamlined workflow. I think Sage likes the word streamlined because they're now talking about streamlined tax totals as well. So in these converted transactions, in the system as it stands prior to this release, the accounts payable and accounts receivable had the GST tax totals in the line, but order entry and purchasing transactions didn't. So what they've done now is they've made that consistent so that all that information will be there. It enhances tax reporting and improves your GST reconciliation, creates a consistent experience across all your GST transactions, finally the same across all of Intacct. For the project people, there's a bulk or mass change function now available. Updating projects one at a time slows your team down, especially when you're managing a large list of active projects. Manage projects lets you quickly select the project that needs change, then enter a new field value to mass update those fields. This helps streamline common tasks like month-end project closeout activities. Sage is treating this as a test for bulk updates across other modules going forward. But again, caveat, no promises. We're trying to get that through for you. For construction companies, there's a new construction feature, flexible retainage release for both AP and AR. This makes retainage release faster and easier to manage. You can release supplier retainage directly from primary purchasing document. So you don't have to jump between records or take extra steps to get the job done. When it's time to release, you can apply a percentage release across all related invoices for a purchase order, a subcontract, avoiding line-by-line work and speeding up processing. Of course, it's only available with those who are using the construction subscription. And then the last coming soon for today, before I jump into close automation. What you've just seen is some of the things that are in release 1, that are coming in release 2, that are coming later in the year. Thinking about this, release 2 is actually just around the corner. If I have a look, the release notes were first popped out on the 8th of May, and today is, I don't know, to be honest, I don't even know what date it is today, 12th, 4 days ago. So this is now available to you. Start having a look at what else is coming, because as you know, 4 times a year, Sage is continually updating and making this solution better for you and yours. Stay ahead of the curve, as I would call it. All right, so moving on to close automation, as David mentioned. So I'll try not to say everything that he said so that we don't double up on it, but I'd also like to make sure that you're aware of what's happening. Most finance teams today still manage month-end close using spreadsheets, emails, and a mix of disconnected systems. This can make that process slow, error-prone, difficult to coordinate. Close automation changes all of that. It transforms the close into a structured, proactive process that's more efficient, insightful, and collaborative. Using Sage's AI-powered tools, your team should be able to save hours every close with automated reconciliations, real-time task tracking. You should be able to spot issues early with continuous variance analysis and keep everyone in sync with shared checklists, dashboards, and task collaboration. Enough slides. Let's have a look at it. So I would start in here and say that I received a notice this morning. Now I need to move that over to here. Don't know. There we go. I received a notice this morning in my email of all sorts of people, so it's sent to a person. I received a notice in my email this morning that I have 3 assigned tasks overdue. So I've been given work to do on the system, and it's telling me straight away that, hey, you need to run the variance analysis, review the bank rec, you need to review the unposted journals, and it's given me links to run them straight within Sage Intacct. So let me go into my Intacct instance and we can have a look at what's in close automation. It's going to come to me, a part of my setup is, do you want this emailed to you, or do you want it just sent to you through the Copilot notifications, or do you want it both ways? So it's up to you to stipulate how you want to be reminded that you've got a job to do. Now, if I open Copilot for starters, and I talked about potentially showing you a little bit of the, not just the close automation, but the capability, as David said, the ability to do natural language queries. So let me say, show me unpaid bills. And I'm a terrible typist, so I'll just take that back out and send that off to Sage. So Copilot is going to utilize its AI, have a look at my data. In my case is 2019, there's 7 years of data in my system. It's going to analyze all of my AP and say, okay, here's a list of the bills that you have. And all I'm doing is just asking it a word, well, as we say, natural language query. I think that's too fancy, but anyway, but I just start asking questions of it, and it goes through and it works out what my bills are. Here's your unpaid bills sorted by due date. This includes bills that are posted or partially paid, outstanding balances, and it shows the first 12 there, but if I want to see them all, I can get the list. Then I can say, well, look, can you do an analysis for me on that outstanding set of bills? And it works out that there's 23 unpaid bills, the total amount is due, how many are overdue, what's the largest single one, see by date and by month, split by currency. It's doing analysis for me. Looks like Lenovo hasn't been paid all of the time. I keep using them in my sample system, so that's pretty logical. I don't pay them. And here's the details of all of the bills. If I want to know how that information was checked, I can click on Copilot and it will show me how it went through and did the analysis for me. Now I might turn around now and go, another query, I might go, which bills should I pay first? Okay, and it will go through and it will recommend for me the bills that I need to pay. It'll have a look at whether there's any discounts for early payment. Given mine are all overdue, I don't think so, but it can do that sort of analysis for you. So very, very capable of determining for you what you need to be able to do in your day-to-day work. So I'll pop that away for the moment and we'll just go back into the close automation that I was going to do for you. So in my insights, one of the things it does is it has pre-built insights for me on top of my chat capability, and it can immediately offer me my budget variance on a year-to-date basis. If I'm a financial controller here and I want to keep an eye on how the business is operating, then the system will say, these are the sorts of things that we think you should be aware of, okay? You have the following variances for in my case, my APAC operating regime, my businesses, and this is where that variance has come down, what it looks like. AI can then turn around and describe for me what that variance actually means. Not just a set of numbers on a screen, not just a report, but the fact that your net operating loss income is a loss because you didn't have a budget, or revenue had a budget line, has a variance, a sample data system, so it's not going to have everything there for you, but it can actually work out for you what you're going to do. You could do the same for a prior period. You could run a full financial report. Again, you can see how Copilot works out all of that analysis for you. But let's have a look at our checklists where we can see these are the overdue tasks. So these are mine because I haven't done them for the last week. So it keeps popping up every day and says, hey, you haven't done it, you haven't done it, you haven't done it. And it includes operating budget departments have exceeded budgets for the last month. So I'm being given at my fingertips without having to go look for it, jobs that I need to do, information that I need to see. So let's have a look at one of those checklists, those tasks. So as I showed you in that email at the very beginning, I had 3 tasks that I had to do, which is to close AR, to close the GL, to close cash management type of thing. I can view all my overdue tasks, or I can have a look at my checklist and view that. Now in here, I'll just minimize Copilot. In here, you would have the months that you're dealing with. Now I've only have the one set up, so I've just done a December 2025 for the moment, which is in progress, and it looks like it's at risk. So let's have a look at the detail there behind that. And so in here, I can see these are the steps that need to be done for my end of month close. So I need to make sure I've reviewed my unposted AP, prepared the reconciliation, and then close the AP. These are links that take you straight to running that process. So you can do that as you go without having to wait. And I can also go in and see which entities. Now I have a multi-entity system, much easier if you have 1 or 2, but when you have a bunch, where am I up to? So for entity 100, it's in progress, as is 200, as is 300. 400 and 500 are done. 600 is underway, etc. And I can flag here whether this particular entity is being done. If there are any dependencies, you must do task A before you do task B, before you can do task C. Then you can set up dependencies in here as well. So pop that away again. If I go into the edit mode, I can turn around and change who is responsible for each of the activities. So I've got a bunch of people that are responsible. So I'm not only setting up the task to be done, but who should be responsible for it and the dates that it needs to be done by. And if I go in and edit any of those for the moment, I can then turn around and see any attachments that are related to it. I might have asked someone to run a report and attach a copy of that report so that we have that constant visibility and reconciliation of what's happening with the tasks themselves. We also, so that's the actual task, and then we have a progress monitor that goes over the entire business. So a dashboard, if you will, that says, okay, these are the particular checklists that are in process. And I can, as you can see, I have selection criteria here to filter and add. And I can see that there's 9 overdue tasks. At the moment, none of them are at risk and 2 of them are complete. So I get a visual of that. And I can have a look at what are my overdue tasks, how long they've been overdue, and what the next tasks are. So this is the dashboard view, shall we say, of the application. And then I can go into the actual assignments and look at where I'm up to with the details, where I'm up to for that whole process, and by entity, where each entity is up to, and who has been assigned to them and where they're up to. So you can keep an eye on how the whole process is running. So we're using a checklist, but then we're showing, in fact, let me grab a checklist for you a second, just to show you something here. In my setup, where I have my templates. So I've set up a regular month end, then I've set up a quarter end, and I've set up a year end. Now, there's not a lot of difference between them, but if I have a look at my first checklist, the system sets all of these up and says, right, these are the logical things. You can turn around and say, how many days after the end of month do you want to start this process? So you might give yourself 3 days for any AP invoices to arrive. And then you turn around and say, I want that starting at day 3 and I want it complete by day 5. Okay. And if, so that's my close AP, I might have put a dependency on there. No, I haven't. So let me just go and put a dependency on there and I can turn around and say, I want a condition that, you know, I must have done a previous task. So all of the capability to run that is there for you. There's 11 steps in a standard month end. If I then go to, I'll jump down to my year end, you'll see that the original 11 steps are there, but quarterly, I also run my BAS, and then I update the portal with a link straight into the portal to log in and key in my BAS details. And then the only extra thing that I do at the end of a financial year is I might lock the general ledger. And this is just a reminder to go ahead and do that. And you can see that's got some days and times there. So the whole concept is that you have a listed process of what you need to do, who needs to do it, when it needs to be done by, and the ability to monitor the entire progress of that. All right, so that's a bit about close automation. And so I'll just go back to the PowerPoint for you. And we did have one last option. I'm aware that we are very close to the top of the hour. So I wondered if there were any particular questions or that we might be able to assist anybody in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Over to you. I like that. That means David and I probably done a reasonable job. We are recording this, so it will be available later on if you want to review it. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to assist as we can for any of these things. Otherwise, I'm going to say on behalf of the team at Leverage, thank you very much for attending today. We really appreciate your time and we wish you a great day. Enjoy your lunches, and because I'm sure you've all been waiting for that. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everyone. Take care.